Hey everyone, I'm Mike from the parkprodigy.com. Are you planning a day at Universal's newest park, Epic Universe, but don't have early park admission? Well, if you are, you're definitely at a disadvantage, but don't worry. In today's video, I'm going to show you why you are not out of the game and can still get on absolutely every ride, even without early park admission. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly how much time you could save just by being at the gate when the park opens for regular guests, using our own wait time data, tracking data from across the park. And you'll see one single land arriving at park open instead of drifting in midday saves you over an hour of standing in line later in the day. And there's a change that Universal Orlando recently made on how guests without early park admission can get into each land that you need to know about. That's why in today's video, I'm going to break down 4 different routes that you can pick from and which one will actually save you the most time. And this has been by far one of the most popular video requests I have gotten. Everyone wants to know how can they get the most out of their day without early park admission. So I'm really excited for this one. Let's go get started. Thank you again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, I'm about to break down how to tackle your day at Epic Universe without early park admission. But before we jump in, if you want more theme park news and planning tips just like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as I have a lot more Universal and Disney planning videos coming out in the coming weeks. But let's get started with the strategies here. And first, why is arriving early so important even without early park admission? And so here's where people get this wrong. They assume that without early park admission, there's really no point of rushing to get into the park early. That, hey, you don't have the extra hour, so why even bother getting there early? But Universal actually changed the morning flow at Epic Universe, and what they're doing now is they're actually allowing park guests with early park admission to get into the worlds, and they're sort of making everyone without early park admission wait online to get in. So what does that mean? Well, just like it sounds, if you're at the front of that line, you're gonna have sort of first dibs to get onto the ride or line of your choice. And this is different from when they first opened up the park, where essentially it didn't matter if you didn't have early park admission, everyone would be able to roam around the Celestial Park area that essentially connects to the different worlds. And a lot of times Universal would allow folks even without early park admission to get onto Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Well, that is no longer a thing. But what does that mean? Well, just like it sounds, you want to be some of the first guests now allowed into the worlds and onto the lines the quickest. The other important thing to note here too is you do need to be mindful of which side you're going to, because that definitely plays a part in which side you line up for. If you're going to, let's say, Harry Potter, or you're going to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, you're going to want to line up on the right side. If you're going to Super Nintendo World or Dark Universe, you're going to want to line up on the left side. So that could also, if you line up on the right side, then you have to completely cross over the park to get over to Dark Universe. You're going to waste time. So being familiar with where you want to go and where it is located within the park is really important now. Okay, but let's finally jump in and let's start to break down your 4 different rope drop strategies without early park admission. And so on a typical day, Epic Universe will open up at 10 a.m. So that means early admission starts at 9 a.m. So we're going to start tracking really all of this data for this video at 10 a.m. What I would say is if they bump the hours and let's say regular park opening is 9 a.m., the data really doesn't shift very much. This is pretty much ebb and flow as far as people see that the park opens up at 10. Typically they'll show up a little bit later, so there's an advantage to really getting rides out of the way as quickly as possible. The first route is going to have you starting in Celestial Park, and this route is best for guests who want to knock out Epic Universe's flagship coaster, and that flagship coaster is going to be Stardust Racers, and we're going to have you hitting this ride first. So you're going to start with Stardust Racers at 10 a.m. and we're comparing that 10 a.m. wait time of 21 minutes. We're comparing that to peak time, which is 2 p.m., where the ride peaks from a wait time standpoint to 45 minutes. So you're saving yourself 25 minutes ballpark by hitting this ride at 10 a.m. So you're going to see there's different rides that will save you a lot more time. After Stardust Racers, you're going to go over to Constellation Carousel, and that's going to have an average wait of 7 minutes at 10 a.m. compared to 20 minutes where it's peaking at 2 p.m. again, and the time saved will be 13 minutes. So overall, if you started your day in Celestial Park, you would essentially save yourself 37 minutes compared to peak wait times later in the day. If Stardust is like the most important coaster for you and you want to try to get on it possibly twice, one in the morning, once at night, then this could be a good fit, but there are betters, as you will see. So now the second option for hitting Epic Universe early in the morning, and I would say start in Dark Universe. Now this is the one that I probably get the most heat and hate for online, where everyone tells me, Mike, it makes no sense, don't start here, Monsters Unchained is always a walk-on. It's not really always a walk-on. It actually does peak at 32 minutes on average at 2 p.m. But what I would say is Curse of the Werewolf really is sort of the hidden ride here that has a very, very big average wait time. So I do still see an advantage of possibly starting in Dark Universe. And so for this route, we're going to have you start with Curse of the Werewolf at 10 a.m. And so even at 10 a.m., you could potentially still wait between 15 to 23 minutes on average. But comparing that to its peak time at 2 p.m., it typically has a 62-minute wait in the afternoon. So you're saving yourself right around 39 minutes right there. Monsters Unchained, I would say, is pretty much going to be a walk-on. On average, though, they have it at 17 minutes, and that's compared to peak at 2 p.m. where we have the average wait of 32 minutes. So you're saving yourself 15 minutes. So just by hitting Dark Universe in the morning compared to later in the afternoon, you are potentially saving yourself 54 minutes. And what's so surprising here is when I look at the other rides that you could potentially hit at this time, kind of comparing the data and saying, well, what is the guaranteed savings? Curse of the Werewolf actually has the biggest guarantee savings just based on average wait times and like consistency. You'll see there's one ride that could have a bigger average savings, but it's so hit or miss that like this is the safe bet. And that's kind of always been my strategy. Like, hey, take your easy wins early in the morning and early in the day because it's a numbers game. There's 11 rides. You really want to try to get onto 3 rides out of the way within the first hour and a half, and your day has that much more chance of success. Okay, going over to route number 3, and this is another one that I definitely really like, and this one actually will give you the biggest savings overall, but again, where Curse of the Werewolf was the biggest savings on a just single ride standpoint. So for this route, we're going to have you start in How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, and we are going to have you go straight to Hiccup's Wing Gliders, where at 10 a.m., you're on average looking at a 50-minute wait. Now, what I would say is I personally did this route a couple weeks ago, and Hiccup's at that point in time was only a 25-minute wait, but again, this is the averages, looks like it's going to be 50. So you could get better, you can get slightly worse, but when you compare that to the peak time of 12 p.m., you save yourself 22 minutes, because at 12 p.m., you have a 72-minute average peak. Next, after Hiccup's Wing Gliders, we're going to have you go on to Dragon Racer's Rally. It's going to be right before 11 a.m. at this point, and you have an average wait time of 43 minutes. Again, comparing this to peak, which is between 12 to 2 p.m. of 51 minutes. So you're only saving 8 minutes there. And then we have Fire Drill, which is actually the biggest time saver on average for this part of the park, where we have an average wait time of 15 minutes between, I would say, really 11 to 12 p.m. And then between 12 to 2 p.m., it kind of spikes up to 46 minutes. And so you're saving yourself potentially 31 minutes there. So what does that mean? How much time did you save by hitting this park as early in the day as possible? Well, you saved 61 minutes spread out over the 3 rides. So from a land standpoint, like I said, this is going to give you the biggest average savings. But where it gets really tricky is you could see that this land actually peaks between 12 to 2 p.m. So if you're not really sort of done with those 3 rides within the first 2 hours of the day, you're pretty much now standing in the peak wait times, and it could be better to come and hit this part of the park a little bit later in the afternoon or early evening. And the other important thing to keep in mind too, with this sort of route that I just broke out, it does not include the Hiccup's meet and greet, which is the very popular character meet and greet, which I would say on average definitely goes between 60 to 90 minutes these days. So you're still going to have to sort of come back into this part of the land at some point if you're trying to see and do it all, because you really can't eat up an hour and a half of your day in the middle of the day at a meet and greet and still get everything done, in my opinion. But in reality, if rides are really the most important thing and everything else is sort of the cherry on top, I still think that this could be a good option for you to start your day. And this is also why it's so important to be some of the first guests kind of released to get on the lines, because as you could see, my wife and I, we only waited 25 minutes. So if you add 25, you kind of cut your wait time for Hiccup's Wing Gliders in half. Your savings goes from 61 all the way up to around like 85, which is a slam dunk. That's an hour and a half of your day that you just got back. Okay, but over to route number 4, and I would say the biggest sort of wild card out of all of these, and that is to go straight to Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. And this really is the park's headliner, and it's consistently posting sort of the highest standard wait times in the park. It's routinely between 90 to 150 minutes by mid-morning, and I would say even well past that on the busiest of days. But here's what I would say is we've been to Epic a bunch, and even just tracking the wait time data, there are some mornings where you can still see Battle at the Ministry sort of sitting around that that 60-minute wait mark right around 10 a.m. And so if that's the case, you could definitely go and sort of just get Battle at the Ministry out of the way, because when you compare it to the peak wait times in the middle of the afternoon, you could definitely save over 60 minutes, if not more, by just getting it out of the way as quickly as you can for only, let's say, an hour wait. And I definitely think that's a genuine win, but the problem is this ride has been so sort of hit or miss that I can't really guarantee it. My wife and I were at Epic a couple weeks ago, and we actually used our early park admission on Battle at the Ministry, but the ride went down and we didn't get on it for early park admission. And then around 10:30, I would say, when they finally got the ride back up, it was sort of instantly hour and a half to 2 hour wait. And I would say on average, like once it sort of hits its peak, that's kind of where it sits the rest of the day. So what I'm saying is if it's a 2 hour wait at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty consistently going to be a 2 hour wait at 6 o'clock at night. The only time it really starts to come down is as you get closer to park closing. This is like the one ride that you definitely want to go on. This is the one ride that's really a risk to sort of leave towards the end of the night, because it could potentially reach capacity, and that means Universal will no longer let people on the line. So now, which route should you pick? Well, if you're going after the most sort of guaranteed time saved, I would say you're going to lean towards How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. If you're going for sort of the safest play on the best per ride payoff, I would go with Dark Universe, where the Curse of the Werewolf is definitely the biggest winner there. If thrills are your thing, again, definitely start with Celestial Park, as you're going to knock out that flagship coaster. And for Harry Potter fans, I think Battle at the Ministry could potentially be the sort of sleeper play here that pays off the most. And just as a reminder, guys, if this is all way too much for you and you're not sure what the best route is for your family, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. I really appreciate all the love and support online, on YouTube. Everyone's always asking me, Mike, how can we say thank you? How can we support your channel? Honestly, guys, the best way you could support my family, my small business, is to consider booking your vacation package through us over at theparkprodigy.com. We are a you-preferred Universal Orlando travel agency, and you will get the exact same package as if you booked directly with Universal. But all of our Universal clients are actually guaranteed to save by booking through us, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. We're a travel agency, so we actually earn commission directly from Universal. So you are guaranteed to save. We will take all the stress and plan every day in the park. It's sort of a win-win. Plus, you'll get all of my theme park knowledge and expertise behind your trip. So just be sure to go check out our website, the Park Prodigy, and we will leave a link in the show notes if you do want to fill out and get that free vacation package quote. But I think that's all the time we have for today, guys. I would say most important things to take away from this video is if you don't have early park admission, I still think you should get to the gate extremely early. Make sure that you have a strategy and a game plan. Pick one of the routes that I just broke out, and hopefully you will have the most amazing day possible. Thank you guys again so much, and until next time, I will talk to you soon.